Think you know 70s cinema? Sure, you've seen Jaws and Star Wars, but lurking in the shadows of those blockbusters lies a treasure trove of mind-bending masterpieces that'll make your jaw drop. These forgotten gems aren't just movies, they're fever dreams captured on celluloid. Let me take you down this deliciously twisted rabbit hole of 1970s underground cinema that time forgot, but absolutely shouldn't have. Let me transport you back to 1973, a time when horror didn't need jump scares or CGI monsters to freeze your blood solid. Imagine a seasoned British detective stepping off a seaplane onto the shores of Summerisle, a remote Scottish paradise where something is terribly, terribly wrong. A young girl has vanished without a trace, but that's just the beginning of this nightmare. The locals smile too wide, sing songs that make your skin crawl, and practice rituals that belong in humanity's darkest chapters. But you haven't heard about the Wicker Man, really heard about it, until you've experienced Christopher Lee's Lord Summerisle, a performance so mesmerizing, so deeply unsettling, that it haunted him until his final days. This isn't your typical folk horror tale. It's a slow-burning descent into madness that builds, scene by scene, song by song, toward an ending so shocking, so visceral, that audiences in '73 fled theaters in distress. And that finale, let's just say there's a reason why 50 years later, viewers still wake up in cold sweats, humming those deceptively cheerful folk songs that echo through this masterpiece of psychological terror. In 1978, while you were nestled safely in your local cinema watching feel-good hits like Grease, another film was sending shockwaves through audiences, leaving them gasping for breath in their seats. Based on a true story that'll make your stomach turn, Midnight Express dragged viewers into the nightmarish depths of a Turkish prison, where American college student Billy Hayes learned the true meaning of hell on earth. Giorgio Moroder's pulsing soundtrack. The sweat-drenched walls. The raw desperation in Brad Davis's eyes. Oliver Stone's screenplay pulls zero punches, crafting scenes so intense that audiences in '78 had to leave theaters just to catch their breath. But the most chilling part? Knowing that somewhere out there, the real Billy Hayes endured horrors that make even this brutal film seem tame by comparison. This isn't your typical prison break thriller. It's a masterclass in sustained tension that'll leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about justice, survival, and the depths of human endurance. In 1972, while the world dreamed of moon landings and Martian colonies, Silent Running dared to paint a future that would make your soul ache. A lone botanist drifting through the cosmos, guardian of Earth's last forests, preserved inside massive glass domes among the stars. Bruce Dern's performance as Freeman Lowell isn't just acting, it's a man slowly unraveling in the vast emptiness of space, with only his beloved plants and 3 quirky maintenance robots for company. Those robots, Huey, Dewey, and Louie, will steal your heart, then break it. Long before Wall-E, these little droids showed us just how human machines could be. Back when special effects meant ingenuity, not CGI, and environmental messages didn't need a sledgehammer to hit home. And that haunting Joan Baez soundtrack, her voice echoing through the void like a lullaby for a dying Earth. It'll stay with you long after the credits roll. This isn't your typical space odyssey, my friends. It's a tender, heartbreaking reminder of what we stood to lose, even as we reached for the stars. Watching it today feels less like science fiction and more like a crystal ball into our own uncertain future. Imagine Los Angeles, 1978, but not the glittering Hollywood version. No, this is the city after dark, where neon bleeds into shadow and danger lurks at every stoplight. Before Drive, before Baby Driver, there was The Driver, a neo-noir masterpiece that'll make your pulse race and your knuckles turn white. Ryan O'Neal, trading his clean-cut image for pure ice-cold intensity, plays a getaway driver who never needed a name. Just raw talent behind the wheel and nerves of pure steel. Those car chases, shot with cameras bolted to real cars, no CGI, no safety nets, just pure gut-churning automotive ballet through the gritty streets of '70s LA. And there's Bruce Dern's detective, obsessed, unhinged, breaking every rule to catch our nameless wheelman. The cat-and-mouse game between them creates tension so thick you could cut it with a switchblade. Every scene drips with that unmistakable 70s atmosphere, when cars had real chrome, streets had real danger, and movies had real guts. Remember when they said Australian cinema couldn't terrify you to your core? Then came Wake in Fright, slithering out of the outback like a sun-drunk nightmare in 1971. Lost for decades, then miraculously rescued from a Pittsburgh warehouse marked for destruction, this isn't just a movie. It's a descent into the scorching madness of the Australian desert. One schoolteacher, 5 days trapped in a mining town called the Yaba, the relentless sun beating down, the endless rounds of beer, the horrifying kangaroo hunt that had audiences fleeing theaters, shot with footage so raw and real it'll make your blood run cold. Even the crew couldn't stomach filming those scenes. Director Ted Kotcheff crafted something that digs its claws into your psyche and never lets go. This lost masterpiece crawled out of the dirt of the outback to show us something primal about human nature. What happens when civilization peels away under that merciless sun? Watch it alone, in the dark, and feel the sweat trickle down your neck as the Yaba pulls you deeper and deeper into its dusty, beer-soaked embrace. In 1971, while the rest of Hollywood was chasing grit and glamour, a small film crept into theaters that would change the way we think about love. Imagine a young man obsessed with staging elaborate fake suicides, crossing paths with a 79-year-old free spirit who teaches him how to truly live. Sounds crazy? That's just the beginning. Harold and Maude isn't your typical romance. It's a pitch-black comedy that dances on the edge of taboo, all while Cat Stevens' haunting soundtrack guides us through the beautiful chaos. Remember that feeling when a movie just clicks? When your heart opens up to something so wonderfully weird, so perfectly imperfect, that you can't believe it even exists? Bud Cort and Ruth Gordon created magic that could never be replicated today. A love story that had audiences in '71 scratching their heads, until, like Harold himself, they learned to embrace the glorious absurdity of it all. Their chemistry, their timing, the way they turned funeral crashing into an art form, it's lightning in a bottle, preserved forever on celluloid. This isn't just another counterculture statement from the '70s. It's a reminder that life's greatest gifts often come wrapped in the strangest packages. At Vintage Verse, we're not just about movies. We're about discovery. We dig deep, unearthing the forgotten gems, the overlooked masterpieces, and the best cinema has to offer from decades gone by. If you're as passionate about uncovering the hidden corners of cinematic history as we are, hit that subscribe button. There's a whole universe of incredible stories waiting to be rediscovered, and we'd love to have you along for the ride. Back in 1971, Hollywood served up something that would make modern pandemic thrillers look like child's play. A crystalline killer from space, turning human blood to powder in seconds. The Andromeda strain didn't just predict our worst microscopic nightmares, it showed us exactly how they might unfold, with clinical, terrifying precision. Long before CGI, director Robert Wise crafted something truly revolutionary. A sci-fi thriller that feels more like watching a ticking time bomb in a hazmat suit. That underground facility, Wildfire, 5 stories of stark, sterile terror buried beneath the Nevada desert. Those decontamination sequences, those nerve-shredding computer readouts, every beep and warning light cranking up the tension until you can barely breathe. And those scientists, no action heroes here, just brilliant minds racing against an invisible enemy that's always one step ahead. The attention to detail is staggering. Michael Crichton's novel brought to life with such surgical precision that real government officials started taking notes. This isn't science fiction anymore, folks. In our post-pandemic world, the Andromeda strain feels less like entertainment and more like a chilling prophecy that arrived 50 years too early. San Francisco to Denver, 15 hours, pure speed and madness through the heart of the American West. The year was 1971, and Vanishing Point wasn't just another car movie, it was a white-hot streak of rebellion that burned itself into cinema history. One man, one supercharged 1970 Dodge Challenger RT, and enough amphetamines to keep his foot welded to the floor. Barry Newman's Kowalski, former cop, former race car driver, former everything, now just a speed demon with something to prove and nothing left to lose. That pristine white Challenger eating up mile after endless mile of asphalt, while Cleveland Little's blind DJ Super Soul broadcasts his mad dash to freedom across the airwaves. The roar of that 440 engine, the dust trails stretching toward the horizon, the police cruisers left broken and battered in Kowalski's wake. Pure automotive poetry that captures the dying breaths of the 1960s counterculture. This isn't your typical road movie. It's a sun-baked fever dream about a man who decided that if society was going to cage him in, he'd rather floor it straight into oblivion. That ending, oh, that unforgettable ending, still leaves audiences stunned into silence 50 years later. Before Quentin Tarantino ever dreamed of Kill Bill, there was Lady Snowblood, a tale of vengeance so breathtaking, so visceral, that it redefined what revenge cinema could be. Picture this, Japan 1973, the crisp white snow painted crimson, a woman born in a prison cell with only one purpose, revenge. Meiko Kaji doesn't just play Yuki Kashima, she becomes this avenging spirit, moving through the frame like death itself, her umbrella sword spraying arterial red across pristine white landscapes. That haunting theme song, Shura no Hana, which would later echo through Kill Bill, sending shivers down spines decades before Uma Thurman ever donned a yellow jumpsuit. Those fight scenes, each one a ballet of brutality, choreographed with such stunning precision that you'll forget to breathe. Director Toshiya Fujita created something timeless here, a revenge tale that feels like a fever dream trapped in celluloid, where every frame could hang in an art gallery, if art galleries displayed beautiful nightmares. And when that blade finally tastes its last drop of vengeance, you'll understand why this gem from '73 still influences filmmakers today. This isn't just Japanese exploitation cinema, it's pure poetry written in blood on snow. Australia, 1975. Everything seems frozen in a dreamlike haze, where the sun beats down like a hypnotic drum, and Victorian-era schoolgirls float across hanging rock in their starched white dresses. You can almost taste the dusty heat, feel the ancient stones beneath your feet. As director Peter Weir crafts something so mesmerizing, you'll question your own grip on reality. That haunting pan flute echoes through time, while four young women venture higher and higher into the scorching afternoon. Time itself seems to drift away. Watches mysteriously stop at midnight, and then they vanish. Gone, like morning mist dissolving into the shimmering Australian air. No neat answers here, dear friends, just a slow descent into beautiful madness. Rachel Roberts, so precise, so proper as Mrs. Appleyard, watching her perfectly ordered world crumble beneath nature's ancient power. And that cinematography, that ethereal cinematography. Russell Boyd captured pure magic through his lens. Every ray of sunlight feels like a gateway to somewhere else. By the time those final credits roll, you'll find yourself haunted by questions that'll keep you awake at night, staring at your ceiling, wondering what secrets still whisper through the rocks at Hanging Rock. That's all for today's journey through the flickering shadows of 70s cinema, but the projector never truly stops, does it? If these forgotten gems stirred something in your soul, there's an entire universe of undiscovered classics waiting in the wings. Our Vintageverse community is growing stronger every day, sharing the films that changed their lives. Hit that subscribe button and let's dive deeper into cinema's hidden treasures. Because some movies deserve more than just memories, they deserve to be discovered again and again and again. See you next time in the Vintageverse, where every frame tells a story and every story finds its audience.